Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the last episode of this Giants franchise mode commentary. Yes, you heard it right. This is going to be it. This is how we are closing out the actual 2024 calendar year with this last postseason run with your San Francisco Giants. It's been quite a journey that we've been on with this team. We've managed to bring them up from a division of death between the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks and Padres, even in the NL East with the Braves and Phillies, Mets when we first started, and got us into a competitive team, a team that's made the playoffs now 5 straight years. The first year losing in the DS before learning our lesson and going on to win the World Series. And then the last 2 years have been met with extreme disappointment. We were expecting at least one more title run in there, but we haven't even been able to get out of the wild card. I don't even think we've won a game since winning that Game 7 of the World Series versus the Cleveland Guardians. So we find ourselves back here once again in the wild card round against a familiar opponent, the St. Louis Cardinals, a team that we matched up against in the wild card round, I think our first year back in the postseason. And they are built very similarly to us and very similarly to when we last faced them. So Quinn Matthews is their true ace, a homegrown talent. This guy has been getting better and better, spending his whole career here in St. Louis, kind of replacing Shane McCallahan at the top of that rotation, who was here those few years back. But a strong rotation here that they have in St. Louis once again, and a decent bullpen. Nothing overwhelming, I would say, but capable of getting big-time outs. And a couple of key names to keep an eye on as we go through this postseason run. Nate Pearson, a guy we went after 2 years ago in free agency. He chose St. Louis over us. So that's a big guy to keep an eye on, see how we can match up against him, maybe get some revenge. And then Reggie Crawford, actually a Rule 5 draft pick by St. Louis this past year, on their roster for the playoff run as a lefty arm to match up against us. And then Tom Leslie, one of the best closers in the game, to close things out for them. So they have a pretty solid pitching staff, just like they did last time, similarly to us. So no real weaknesses there, and it's much of the same with their offensive approach here. Still built on defense and contact here in St. Louis. Nico Horner leading things off, a guy that we thought about bringing in all those years back when he was a free agent. He's still here in St. Louis. And you go down the lineup here, it's much of the same. It's contact, it's defense, it's getting on base. No true overwhelming sluggers or superstars, I would say, but a very complete team top to bottom with no true weaknesses. There's no lefty lanes. There's no righty lanes. If anything, there's a couple guys here like Carlson and Bernal and even Horner at the top of the lineup who actually hit better against lefties, so kind of take away that advantage. Even their lefty hitters hit lefties better. So it's going to be a tough matchup for us, but it's been that way from the start. Their bench is even complete there with guys like Nathan Church and Moises Gomez, Tobias Deal, and Blake Sable here as well. Guy we traded over to the Angels a couple years back for Vinny Pasquantino. If you remember that acquisition, he's here in St. Louis doing the catching, so maybe he's got some tips on our pitching staff that he's going to try and pass along for this series. But we do have home field advantage, and we've been here the past 2 years, and hopefully this is the year we've learned our lesson. At least we have history on our side going up against St. Louis in the wild card round. Doing the pitching for us, Bryce Eldridge has truly arrived as a number one ace, having his best year, improving on his numbers from last year. He's going to get the pill here in game one. It's time to see, the passing of the guard, if you will, from the likes of Logan Webb and Corbin Burns being your game one starters. It's time to give it to Bryce Eldridge. He's earned it. Following him up will be the veterans in George Kirby and Logan Webb, still putting together competitive years. They have faltered a little bit for us in the playoffs, so that's also the reason we're going to go with Eldridge in game one. And then if needed, I mean, I know it's only a 3-game set, but we have Owen White in here, who we acquired a couple years back from Texas. And then Wisson Hunt is just still not emerging as the likes of which that St. Louis has their lefty starters pitching at. So we've brought down the rotation a little bit for this playoffs. In the bullpen, David McDougall got the call up and thrived. He gets to stay. Aaron Ashby, a good lefty reliever for us, along with Mitch Bratt. Layden Rupp has pitched well for us. Michelle Otanez has done well. Camilo Duvall lost the closing role, but did excellent as a setup man with 26 holds there, 2.16 ERA. Moinello here, trade deadline acquisition for us, a high leverage lefty arm that we can turn to. And then Marshall Jones took over the closing role. He had 43 saves here in his sophomore year. So very dependable, capable guy. He pitched well in the playoffs for us last year. I don't know if he'll assume the closing role. It might just be whoever gets hot back there. But that's who we have on the roster for pitching. Lineup-wise, it's pretty much the exact same that we've had it the past few years and how we had it during the regular season. Matos stays in that leadoff spot, followed up by Rafaela, who had a really good year for us after acquiring him as a free agent. Stephen Kwan in the last year of his deal, along with Eloy Jimenez, who had his worst offensive year, but still a very dangerous hitter. Royce Lewis with a nice bounce-back year, following him up with Richard Ju, who had an incredible rookie year with 14 homers, a 305 average. Brooks Lee at second, Patrick Bailey doing the catching, and Ellie De La Cruz kind of fell off a little average-wise, but still a very dangerous hitter here in the 9th spot with that elite speed. We can always slide him up the lineup, but again, it's only 3 games at best, so we'll have to be aggressive with any of those changes. Vaughn Burke off the bench had a great year. Vaughn Brown and Grant McCray you're familiar with as some depth outfield options, and Logan Porter there as well. So our team's very much the same as we've had it. We're hoping that this is the year we can get out of the wild card round and make a run into the playoffs. But this is, for better or for worse, going to be the last run for these Giants before they hand it over to a new GM to take over this team. So with all of that, with all the storyboarding and building up to it, let's get into these playoffs and get them underway and stop wasting any more time. Home field advantage, we have it here in San Francisco. Eldridge on the mound, getting the rock in game 1 is officially underway. So St. Louis, a team built on contact and defense. We'll have to see how it turns out as they get off to an early 1-0 lead here, make it 2-0 on the sac fly by Caminero. And it's already a hole for San Francisco. And that has kind of been a problem for us throughout these playoffs, is having to play from behind, not able to have a lead. And when we have had any sort of a lead, our bullpen has not been able to take care of anything for us. And so it's going to be key here, these early innings, who gets out to the lead and who can hold on to it. As Ellie gets a single, turns it into a double with a stolen base, and we can't push him across, and we're already into the 4th inning in game 1. Eldridge has looked sharp other than that first inning as he gives up 2 singles here. Going to Dylan Carlson for the 2nd time through, strikes him out. Big out right there to keep it a 2-0 deficit. Here's where we got to come alive. We got the heart of the order. 2nd time through, we need to try and string something together. We go 1, 2, 3. Okay. 3rd time through the lineup here for Eldridge, and 1 out single. Not going to mess around this time. I'm going to turn it over to the bullpen, and I'm going to go to our better arms. Michelle Otanez, you got to get in there and try and keep this a 2-0 game. Nico Horner steals 2nd. There's a walk. Arias bunts. Do we pitch to Beck or Caminero? Probably best to pitch to Beck. And he singles with a 2-out knock, and it's now a 3-0 ball game for your Giants to try and climb out of. Patrick Bailey with a leadoff single. Double play. Yep, the offense just continuing to putter for San Francisco. The story of the past few playoff runs, as it's now 4-0 as Bernal goes yard for them. out of the 9 spot. We'll leave Otania's in there. Can't win a lot of games when you don't score any runs, as Richard Jew hits a solo homer to get us on the board. But it might be a little too little, or it might be too little too late, I would say. Give McDougal a chance here. We're already down 3. Walks the first 2 guys. Gets out of the inning. All right, here we are. Bottom of the 8th. Down 3. Royce Lewis with a leadoff walk. Strikeout. Fly out. First and second. 2 outs now for Rafael. Free agent acquisition this past year. Come on, my man. Have a big moment in your Giants uniform. And he does. In the biggest swing of Rafael's career, he hits a game-tying 2-out, 3-run homer to give life back to the San Francisco crowd after it looked like their demons were still haunting them. They managed to tie the game here in the 8th as they go to the bullpen now, bringing in, not even going to try to pronounce that name, but Stephen Kwan. Come on, can we keep the 2-out rally? We can. Okay. So now we're into the 9th. McDougal did okay. I think we need to get in a better righty, someone we can rely upon, and I'm going to go to Duvall here to try and keep this a tie game as he gives off a leadoff double to Dylan Carlson. Just what we wanted, right? And there's the 2-out single by Weatherholt, and St. Louis comes back and gets the lead right back. They go to their closer, Tom Leslie. Do we have anybody who really excels against lefties? Not really. Just got to let this ride. We need another rally here from San Francisco, doing all our scoring late. Leadoff walk by Eloy Jimenez. Okay. That does something for us. So we'll get Von Burke in there to pinch run. Richard Jew's been swinging a hot bat. And the last time we tried to steal with Vaughn, we got thrown out. Let's give Richard the chance to swing it. And he hits into a double play. Well, just like that, all the momentum squandered away, and San Francisco loses this one 5-4 to St. Louis. And just like the days of old, backs against the wall here in the wild card round. I know what you're all thinking. Jump in, play the game, force a game 3, at least get some action, stop wasting it. You know, I would love to do that, but this team has to show some sort of fight in them for us to jump in and play a game and try to win one manually. So we are going to roll with George Kirby here in Game 2 and just hope for a little bit more production from our team and from some of our star players. That's just the bottom line here. So Game 2 underway here in San Francisco. Win and St. Louis advances, lose, and it's over for San Francisco. So backs up against the wall. It's all hands on deck as George Kirby sets the tone, striking out the side here in the first. Let's go. Come on. There's a ton of stars on this team here in a Giants uniform. Do not expect us to go quietly as Eloy Jimenez leaves the yard here in the bottom of the second to give the Giants a lead for the first time in who knows how long in the postseason. As Honeyman doubles in the top of the third with no outs, followed up by a 1-out double by Bernal, who ties the game. Now a walk, ground out. Do we pitch to Arias? We do. We get out of it. Okay. So St. Louis answers, but there, like I said, there's a lot of firepower in this lineup. In San Francisco, we have to manufacture runs as we had first and second, nobody out, and can't do it. All right, slow the game down. Slow the game down. One batter at a time here, Georgie. 2-out single doesn't mean anything. Nice work. Okay, heart of the lineup. Second time through. Heart of the lineup. Need to put something together here. Quan punches, Eloy punches, and we strike out in the top or the bottom of the fourth. Strikes out the side there. George Kirby does his thing to get the offense back up. Okay, Richard Jew, leadoff single. Brooks Lee strikes out. Patrick Bailey double play. Lack of offense once again here as George Kirby walks two guys. And, like, here's the question. Like, who do I go to now in the bullpen? Who do I – Landon Rupp. You know what? Marshall Jones. I can't give up a homer. 73. I can't give up a 3-run shot here. It's too little too late. Got to trust that we can try and hold them to maybe 1 run here. Double play. That's huge. Come on. Come on, Rupp. 2-out double. And gets out of it. Okay, well, first and second, nobody out, held him to 1 run. I'll take that. I'll take that. It gives us a chance. We're 1 swing away. Come on, Ellie. Set the tone. Leadoff single into a stolen base. Basically a leadoff double. I think it's time to bunt and try and tie up this game. Rafael, can you give me a sac fly? He does. And we're back to even. Okay. Like that. Like that a lot. Let's keep on pitching here with Rupp. The veteran, been waiting his chance to pitch in the postseason, is doing a fine job for us as Richard Drew comes through again with a solo shot to give the Giants a 3-2 lead here in Game 2. Huge swing of the bat there. And let's change the guard to Moynell. This is what we brought him in here for. High leverage situation towards the end of the game. Come on, my guy. St. Louis has got some action on the bases. 2 outs, first and second. Come on. Come on, get out of it. He does. That's huge. That is huge. To throw up a 0 right there. We desperately needed that. All right, here we are. Bottom 8, up 1. We need an insurance run any way we can manufacture it here. They go to the bullpen, and Tony Santilman, solid righty. Leadoff single by Bailey. I'd love to pinch run, but he's one of the best defensive catchers in the game, and we kind of need that right now. Okay, first and second now. I think we have to. I think we got a pinch run here at second with Von Burke. Let Matos swing it. Pops up. Strikeout. A walk. Come on, Eloy. Break this game open. No, can't do anything. Okay, so maybe a blunder there for us. Not getting that insurance run across, but we're going to pass it over to Marshall Jones, the young closer. What's he got for us? Leadoff walk into a single. Great. Ground out. Bases loaded. 1 out. Now 2 outs. And he walks him. Ties up the game. Oh, boy. What do we do? I'm an idiot if I turn it over to a bullpen arm and he gives up a knock, and I'm an idiot if I leave Jones in. I got to see what he can do. All right. At least it's only a tie game. Bottom of the 9th. Still 1 swing can win it. Come on. Come on, San Francisco. What do you have for me? Nothing. All right. We're going to extras, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I should say. Sorry about that. Who's my best reliever left? I would say probably Duvall, but Ashby maybe to get a couple guys here. Nope. Leadoff double into a K. Luke and Baker probably still lefty favor. Yep, okay. And now here to Honeyman. I know Carlson hits lefties well, so we should go to a righty regardless. Duvall has experience in high leverage situations. Walked back-to-back walks. Uh-oh. Come on, Duvall. Gets out of it. Huge pitching there by the bullpen of San Francisco. Keeps it a tie game. Logan Porter making his way back in for Patrick Bailey. Was pinch ran for. Now we might have regretted not bunting there, not getting that insurance run. He hits a leadoff single. Come on, Ellie. Can you stay hot? Strikeout. Matos, 0 for. Rafaela, 0 for. Nothing. All right. Well, leaving Duvall in there. 1 out double. Leave him in for Arias. Okay. Gonna go to another lefty here. Gonna go to Mitch Bratt. What do you have for me, my guy? Gets out of it. Needed it. Needed it. Come on, offense. One swing. Force a game 3. Come on. Quan can't do it. Eloy can't do it. Lewis can't do it. Feel like that was our best chance to get back into this game. Gonna have to go to the bullpen once again. McDougal, come on. Can you get me 2 outs? You can give up a 2-run homer instead. And Carlson goes back-to-back. That may have done it. A 3-run 12th for St. Louis as they turn the ball back over to their closer. Richard Juke grounds out. We're going to give, I thought I was pinch hitting. Yeah, Vaughn Brown here for Brooks Lee. Try and change something up. Yep. And that's how it ends. That's how this GM mode will conclude. Once again, your Giants are out in the wild card round in 2 games, and it's safe to say that GM Nicky Kronk is fired after a terrible last 3 years here, losing in the wild card round. They won't show up here until we get to the rest of the postseason, so let's just simulate through. See who's going to take home the World Series this year. Cleveland gets it done in 7 versus Miami, trying to go back-to-back. And I think that might showcase it now. Why did it say DS there? Don't know why it's showing as DS for us losing in the playoffs now. It's a little odd. 2031, yeah, that's this year. But regardless, it's technically a wild card loss in the 3rd straight year for the Giants. We'd won the division, but didn't get that bye. And yeah, 3 straight years not winning a game in the wild card round will certainly get you kicked out of the door quickly. Take a quick look at the awards for the final time. Kyle Manzardo, your World Series MVP. Joey Ortiz, your postseason MVP there for the NL. See if we got any guys winning awards here in our final years. The whole MLB has been shifted over to the prospects. Royce Lewis was in the conversation there for Silver Slugger at 3rd. Eloy in the conversation. Matos gets, I believe, his 2nd Gold Glove. Might have been his 3rd, but at least his 2nd. Quan gets another Gold Glove there, being switched back over to left. And see if we got anything else. Brooks Lee goes back-to-back at 2nd base. Patrick Bailey for the 3rd straight year behind the plate, showing his value to the team. Kind of go through some of the major league awards here. Is that Luciano? No way. Marco Luciano with Miami, signing there. Had a rough first year there in Miami, but the last 2, especially the last year, kind of a breakout year there, 29. Maybe we gave up on him a little too early. Who knows? But it's still a very solid shortstop. We knew he was going to be a guy, just we needed something a little bit better. And with Ellie De La Cruz, when he was out there, it made sense for us to go and get him. So look, congrats to you, Luciano. Looks like you're having a heck of a career there and loving it in Miami, only getting better. But yeah, playing for some World Series teams. There's Drew Thorpe. Goes back-to-back with Cy Youngs. Pittsburgh's had the last 3 winners there in the NL. Drew Thorpe also takes home the MVP. You certainly don't see that very often going to a pitcher, but well-deserved with a 2.36 ERA, 21 wins on the year, 101 whip, 5.7 WAR. How many strikeouts did he have? 210. Only making $10 million a year. What a signing that is for Pittsburgh. And that'll conclude it. So those are the awards. Just for the heck of it, we'll advance today. We need a new manager. A lot of guys retiring here. No Hall of Famers. But yeah, the roster would look completely different. It's time to hand it over to new management so they can decide what to do with all of these pending free agents. Stephen Kwan leaving the team. Patrick Bailey Walking off, Moinello, who we acquired, Otanez, Owen White, Matos, Jimenez, Aaron Ashby, and Camilo Duvall. Solid core of this team. Matos, Duvall, Bailey, even Kwan in there. Have been here for multiple years. Some of these guys have been here since we started this thing. Moving on to free agency. And just to give a preview, I mean, I'm not leaving next management with nothing. I know it's for kicks and giggles at this point, but, you'd still have a rotation of Eldridge, Wisson Hunt, Kirby, and Webb on this team. Owen White hitting free agency. In the system, you've got a ton of starting pitchers on their way, and Huffman and Fox and Hurst and Portillo. A couple of C guys might make the jump. Bullpen-wise, would definitely need some retooling, but, with McDougal, with Rupp, with Bratt, you have some guys there. We did trade away some of our younger guys to bring in some other players, but you could always bring back Moinello or Tanez. You have Marshall Jones, an up-and-coming closer. Things like that. Catching-wise, it would definitely leave a void without Patrick Bailey. Logan Porter's more of a backup. Michael Son kind of on his way, but lacks the defensive game that Patrick Bailey brings for sure. Richard Jew would be your first baseman of the future, especially with the year he had. Continuing to play well. Looks like we drafted another first baseman who would be on his way. Brooks Lee, we signed into that extension. Got a couple years left with him, but Von Burke is certainly playable every day. And, if I'm the manager, I'd probably slide Brooks Lee over to third, or maybe leave him at second and slide Von Burke over to third. Maybe let Royce Lewis go back to being a DH. Or you could trade his salary away and just run with those three guys in your infield and go get a DH along with Ellie De La Cruz, whose offensive numbers took a down year this year, but he still was there in the homers and stolen bases. Still going to give you grade A defense. Outfield-wise, Ricky Chavez, this guy we picked up in that Destin Fletcher deal, is definitely ready for an MLB role. He could slide into left field to replace Stephen Kwan. I know it's not on the same level, but he's definitely capable and ready for an everyday position. Rafael, you have a lockdown center fielder there. And then kind of some depth there with Vaquero, Grant McCrae, Vaughn Brown still around to go out and get. Looks like Joaquin Benitez is on his way to the Major League roster. So lots of different options you could do there as management. But like I said, this marks the end of a chapter, end of our run here for San Francisco. A couple guys on their last years here. I know some of you fans out there might want to see us try it one more year, but in all reality, I think if a GM lost in the wild card round for 3 straight years with that team and didn't win a single game, I mean, the manager left, and I think the GM would be out too. It would make sense. People would be calling for some changes. So thank you for the memories here, San Francisco. Thank you for that World Series ring in 2028. And we didn't return to glory, but we at least brought back some perennial success here to the Bay Area and gave the fans a team to be happy about. And the future is still bright here, but definitely some changes needed, and that's on for next management. So close out this year. We'll be back in 2025 with a new team. Let us know which one you want us to take over. Let us know if you want us to do it the same way we did this year and start it off like just simming through the first year, get it done, and enter free agency like it kind of is in real life with a lot of the same players, or should we assign the likes of Juan Soto and Christian Walker and Bellinger over to their new teams, or just see how this universe plays out? So that'll conclude. Wish you all a happy new year, and we'll see you next time.